Now, the latest polls tell us the current government is the greatest of all time, will never lose anything, they can do whatever the heck they want and will be endlessly rewarded for it. But let's have a look at what Jim Chalmers said when there was one interest rate rise.
This is a full-blown cost of living crisis on Scott Morrison's watch, and now interest rate rises are about to be part of the pain.
And what does he say when there has now been 11 of them, 10 on his watch as the Reserve Bank responds to his economy?
This is a really difficult decision for a lot of Australians who are already under the pump. Well, I don't second guess the decisions taken independently by the Reserve Bank, as you know. My job is different. It's to hand down a budget which is carefully calibrated to these economic conditions that we confront right now.
It is an extraordinary trick that this Treasurer has been able to pull off, to pretend that the government has nothing to do with the decisions that lead to the Reserve Bank having to deal with things like inflation. They have nothing to do with cost of living. But of course, the reason why there was an absolute need to change the government 12 months ago was because the government had everything to do with cost of living and, of course, potential interest rate rises. But we're not supposed to remember 12 months ago. Remember, we're all supposed to be mushrooms, kept in the dark and fed a certain diet. Now, despite the fact that there has now been 11 of the past 12 months increases in interest rates, tens of thousands of dollars on top of the tens of thousands of dollars you already had to pay to try to pay off your home, and that's about a third of the country. What are they about to do? Increase taxes. 10 million people are getting their taxes increased in this budget. For the past couple of years, you've got an automatic $1,500 to help you get through the cost of living crisis. They're taking it away, which means they're keeping more of your money, which means taxes are going up. For those that are slow to the argument, here's Channel 9 explaining exactly who's about to get whacked.
Change will affect Australians earning up to $126,000 a year, with those earning between $48,000 and $90,000 hit the hardest, getting back $1,500 less, while a person on $100,000 will be about $1,200 worse off.
Now, I know that our Prime Minister, who in addition to being the greatest Prime Minister of all time, is of course the greatest celebrity in the country. I can exclusively reveal he won't just be nominated, but will get the Gold Logie this year for appearances on television as Australia's most treasured celebrity. Well, of course, it's all well and good that he wants to hang out with the rich and famous. That's what you get to do when you're the Prime Minister. The only problem is the actual job is not about taking care of the rich and famous. It's about taking care of people that supposedly were the types of people that you grew up around, the types of people who you represent in the electorate. Ladies like this.
I sit at my desk after my kids have gone to bed and I plan every cent that is coming into my account. Even though it's only a little bit that they're taking away from us, for families like myself, it's a huge amount. We don't have that buffer anymore to rely on. So, yeah, it's hard.
So even if you're sitting watching us right now on a very big television in a very comfortable lounge, you know that there are plenty of people who are hurting, and there are more people hurting today than there were 12 months ago. The purpose and point of government in modern Australia is that they're meant to at least recognise this. Yet what are they about to do? They're about to increase that lady's taxes. And while she herself says she's not going to be the beneficiary of $1,500, but the best part of $600, $700 that she'd be able to get back helps her pay for everything else. Because the stress and the strain of her life is that after you pretend everything's okay and the kids go to bed, that's when the real stress starts. That's when you get the calculator out, you get the piece of paper and you try to work out how to make $1 go further. When everything costs more. When if you're paying rent, it costs more. When if you're paying off a house, it costs more. When if you're filling your car with petrol, it costs more. Yet this is the moment that they decide to increase taxes on 10 million people just like that lady. Well, we'll also learn today from the Smith family something that is equally concerning. Now, 12 months ago, this would have been part of the battering ram of the need to change the government. Now, you probably didn't even hear about it. 72% of Australians believe child poverty has worsened due to the cost of living. That's an increase from 56% of people who thought that things were getting worse for kids during the pandemic. The findings also show that 81% of people believe child poverty will get worse in the next 12 months. This is the oh-so-compassionate, centre-left, house-o boy who apparently is there to take care of everyone at the back of the bus. The reality, as I told you last night, is this bloke has now fully transformed into what he always dreamt of being, the biggest star in the room, with the private jet that fly over all of the people, that he has tried to craft an image that's been very successful over the past 20 years, that he's one of them. Reality is, as soon as he had the opportunity, he's left them behind, and he's going to hurt them. And it mightn't turn up in polls, and most likely they get re-elected and re-elected and re-elected and re-elected. But they're hurting people. As I told you last night, 2023, 12 months into this government, the worst gap in income inequality, the most number of people that are homeless, the highest number of people who are waiting to go into the very social housing that our Prime Minister was able to have as secure protection for him as a child, to then to be able to get into the education system before eventually working in a bank for 2 minutes as a teller, before then working for the public service for the rest of his life. Government is about choices. And while the political game is going to be that because $200 billion extra is going to flow into the government's bank account because of all of those evil resources that the centre-left of Australian politics hates so much, they're probably going to deliver a surplus. But at a time when ladies like that lady are hurting more than they have ever hurt before, could somebody please tell me why her taxes need to go up? That's before she does anything else with her life, and I'll get to that in a moment or two's time. And believe it or not, despite all of this being the case, the bloke who is going to raise taxes on 10 million people is pretending that he's going to do something about cost of living in this upcoming budget. I repeat, if it's anything less than $1,500 and they keep any change between what they give back and the $1,500, they're ripping you off. But what did the media run with today? Whatever Grim Jim says.
Our job is to provide responsible cost of living relief, to do what we can without adding substantially to this inflation challenge that we have in our economy. The budget will seek to alleviate some of that pressure.
Why do they try to deride channels like this, programs like this, people like you? Because we know the people who are truly affected by government decisions. When the people at the front end of the plane live better than they've ever lived before, the people who get flown over are just left in the dust. Today, an opinion poll was published by the Turnbull Times, otherwise known as The Guardian. 45% of people expect something out of this budget to do something with cost of living. Now, by all of the rhetoric that they've put out there, 45% of people that are saying that won't get it. That lady won't get it. The people whose power bills keep going up because, in part, they signed a memorandum to run towards the doors of renewables before the current grid hits its use-by date. They're paying more for power. And why do I talk about this so regularly? Because how many figures in the media, when it's a Liberal government, constantly turn around and say, but you said this before the election, we will hold you to account. The promises that you make set expectations, and those expectations you are either delivering on or you are ignoring. This was what the Labor Party put out during the last election campaign. That cost of living will be lower under a government that 12 months later has presided over every single thing being more expensive. But the great rabbit trick, because the media does not want to ruin the new car smell of this government, is that they keep getting more popular. I don't understand why. If somebody wants to turn around and say, well, that's because the Liberals have got an unpopular position on climate. That's because the Liberals have got an unpopular position on The Voice. Okay, but there are bigger issues than those two in terms of what people care about. Every opinion poll for the past couple of years at state and federal level has told us that cost of living is the A1 issue. Number one, 88% of people's number one concern. Well, if that is the ultimate way to judge a government, to remove a government 12 months ago, then how the hell is there not buyer's regret 12 months later when everything costs more? It was a cost of living crisis when interest rates went up once. When they go up 11 times, it's thoughts and prayers.